Hello, everybody. For today's assignment, I decided to do a research about Brad Pitt, which I find completely fascinating and charming. I'm always being a big fan of his, not only for his looks, clearly, but he is a phenomenal actor. So he he is a very private person, so it was a little complicated to find um, interviews talking about himself. So there was an interview from 1994 from the Rolling Stones where he speaks about how he didn't really get a formal training on acting. The roles he had played in the past is basically him showing his personality on his roles. He doesn't follow any acting technique. He might have learned few techniques now with all his experience, but at the beginning he didn't really have any training. So the roles he got was because of his charisma and his personality. It's He's a very likable person, and that's how he cast his roles at the beginning. If you think about the roles that he had played in the past, is basically the self-confident handsome guy who is not afraid of anything and has a lot of personality, which is totally him in real life. So it was easy for him to play this kind of roles. We've seen it in Fight Club, we've seen it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we've seen it on 12 Monkeys. He really shows his personality here. Also, according to Ad Astra's director, James Gray, Pete's ego has little to do with choosing a part. He is always advocating for less exposition and fewer lines. He doesn't think Brad necessarily likes being the center of the attention. So we always see him doing his best roles when he's not the main character, when he is the supportive actor. And this is actually an observation that Alison Wilmore from BuzzFeed mentioned in a past article. She argues that Brad was at his best when cast as a slightly um, she had mentioned that Brad Pitt's best roles are when he's not the main character, but when he's a co-lead. As he did in Fight Club, we know he was amazing in that movie, but the main character was Edward Norton. And same thing happened with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when he was the co-lead for Leonardo DiCaprio. He did amazing in this movie, but he wasn't the main topic of the movie. And same thing happened with Inglorious Bastards. And she had mentioned that Brad Pitt does his best work when he's not the lead actor, which makes sense because, in his own words, on the Rolling Stones interview, he said that he doesn't feel like he is a great actor. He said that in his mind he feels he is consistent, but he's never gonna get to be the best actor. And those are his words. Um, he doesn't seem uh, taking the job too seriously because he knows that if anything happens, if he doesn't want to act anymore, he has other hobbies that he's passionate about. And this is the reason why he got very successful, because he didn't take it too seriously. so he was able to relax and always do his best on his work. So somehow my point of view about him changed a little bit because I always thought that Brad Pitt was a completely different person for what I saw in the movies. It's a little disappointing to know that most of the characters that I love, he didn't really put that much effort because that was him just playing himself. But at the same time, I'm glad that now I know Brad Pitt is this wonderful man that loves to have fun and doesn't take anything too seriously. So I'm not disappointed, but I really thought he was struggling with acting or knew more techniques than I was expecting. So that's it.